All right, awesome. Well, if you're watching this, welcome to Tap, Tap, Tap In. This is a program dedicated to attempting to destigmatize tap water in mainly Southern California, but just in general. Hello, my name is Jarrett, as you can see by my Zoom ID. I go by he, him, his personal gender pronouns. I'm currently acting as the Director of Water for the Student Sustainability Collective. Tonight, I am joined by my three co-directors that are also in my water working group. If y'all would like to unmute and introduce yourselves, Guadalupe.
Hi, my name is Guadalupe Refugio, and I go by the pronouns she, her, hers, and I'm currently the Director of Energy and Waste.
Awesome. And Vanessa?
Hi, everyone. My name is Vanessa. I go by she, her, hers. I'm Director of External Affairs at the SSC.
All right. And Amy?
Hi, my name is Amy Wong. I use she, her, hers, and I am the Director of Operations and Resources.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all. So now that y'all have met everybody, let's go ahead and get right into kind of like the why of this program. What's the point of having this program surrounding destigmatization of tap water? So right now, it's a very interesting time, especially with COVID considerations. This is a time, proper hydration is always essential to ensure that your body is well maintained and healthy. But in this time where we are in our homes more than ever, a lot of people tend to kind of have battles with single-use plastics and trying to maintain sustainability inside of their home, especially if you're used to living on campus during the year while you're taking classes, but now you're living at home or in a new environment. So yeah, tap water seems to be the most logical way to hydrate. It's right there. Everybody has a kitchen, right? Or a bathroom or something of the sort. However, there are a lot of social barriers that we need to tackle and consider. So the first one is that corporations in the past few years have run smear campaigns on tap water in an effort to promote certain products. For instance, a couple weeks ago, I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw this advertisement for a shower head that was meant to kind of like purify your water before it actually reaches you in the shower. The fact is there was some research done on it and there are no kind of like innate health risks to tap water, especially in like showering when you're not ingesting it. So that's just an example of like a money hungry corporation trying to run this smear campaign. Additionally, water quality standards vary from state to state and even county from county in certain states. This is really just an issue of the EPA not being able to regulate enough of not really knowing their jurisdiction where they stand and basically leaving it up to states' rights. Finally, drinkable tap water is obviously not accessible in every single neighborhood. This is especially prevalent in certain low-income neighborhoods. One that comes to everyone's mind is Flint, Michigan. So with that being said, obviously this presentation can't cover every single situation. So we did want to keep these considerations in mind while we were going through the research. But yeah, basically the point of this presentation is to alleviate some of the stress that comes along with worrying about your tap water quality. We hear a lot of people worrying about, you know, like, oh, LA County water, like, is the dirtiest in the country. Like, you can't drink it unless it's run through like 3 purification steps. We really just want to use this program to debunk that and again, alleviate some of that stress so that everybody can be properly hydrated and healthy. Next slide, let's see. Yeah, again, just wanted to make a disclaimer. This research was really just supposed to be a really cut and dry and easily digestible way to see everything in basically Southern California. It's in no way exhaustive. Certain counties report, or certain cities within certain counties that we did research on, report water quality as well as water prices in a different way. However, for the sake of the time and resources spent in anticipation of this program, the research is intended to be rough and apply to the general public of the basically control volume that we're looking at, which is Southern California. So yeah, a few of the assumptions that were made in terms of doing the research for this program. The first one is that upon doing research, we found that the average size of a family in America is about 3. It's actually 3.14, in case you didn't know that. Second assumption is that we are assuming that all of these three individuals living in the same home would be basically like moderately active in their day-to-day activities. What this means is that the Mayo Clinic actually recommends different water consumption depending on how active you are. Obviously, they want to make sure that you're maintaining the proper hydration for whatever your exercise levels are. Additionally, we want to assume moderate climate. So somebody in Arizona might be drinking a lot more water, might be recommended to drink a lot more water than someone in, let's say, Mammoth in Northern California. And then finally, we are negating, just for simplicity's sake, the fluid intake from any other ingestion. So we recognize that obviously you would gain a little bit of water consumption if you were to eat an apple or other fruits or stuff like that. We're basically negating that and saying that your only intake of fluid would be coming from the water that you're consuming. Based on all of these assumptions, our basis, our research led us to find that the Mayo Clinic actually recommends that from these assumptions, the average monthly household consumption of 0.1173 hundred cubic feet or 11.73 cubic feet of water. This will be our basis for further calculations. The reason that it's that weird unit is because that is like the average reporting level that every single county and city and state in the United States actually reports based on. So now that we have all of those, the structure of this program is basically going to be split up into 4 sections. So first of all, we want to make sure that we take into consideration the cost effectiveness of a few different water consumption tactics. Next up, we want to make sure that the counties that we're looking at do have adequate tap water quality to make sure that we're not just ignoring and saying, drink the water no matter what. Finally, we want to talk about access to refill stations. We'll talk about that later. And then just like the overall conclusion that we want you to come away with after this program. So yeah, the first section is cost effectiveness. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Guadalupe.
Hello, now moving on towards cost effectiveness. So the standard pricing with regards to all of the regions that we're going to be touching upon during this presentation, this is the research that we had gathered. So the standard water purifiers cost around $15 to $35. And then if you take into account the replacement filters, it averages about $6 each. And they recommend replacing them every other month. And the standard water coolers average about $130. And you can also see that 5-gallon jugs can be delivered for $7 per jug. And it requires around 4 jugs per month. Or you can also fill it up yourself for $1.50 for each jug. However, in this presentation, we only take into account the jugs that are delivered because we just take into consideration that students would rather save their time in order to study, and our targeted audience are the students. Now moving forward with Orange County, the tap water base fee is $29.07, and the rate per HCF is $2.55, and the monthly bill would be $29.37, which will lead up to a total of $67.37 per month for the first month, and then leading up to $32.37 afterwards. And that's just for the tap water fee. But the water cooler, the manual cost would be $136 for the first month, and then $6 afterwards, and eventually making it worth your money to invest in a water cooler. And if you think about it in the other route of having it delivered, the delivery cost would be $158 for the first month, and then $28 afterwards. And now moving on to the Los Angeles County. For the tap water there, the base fee is $39.88, and the rate is $6.76 per HCF. And the monthly bill would be $40.67, which we can see that is higher there in that region. and the total would be $78.67 for the first month, and leading up to $43.67 afterwards. And then the water cooler price there would be $136 for the first month and $6 afterwards. And we're going to be able to see the continuation of this trend for the following two regions as well. And following along, Riverside County, the base fee for tap water is $20.53, and the rate would be $1.22 per HCF, and the monthly bill would be $20.67, with the total of $58.67 for the first month and $23.67 afterwards. And lastly, we have San Diego County, which a lot of our students are located in, and the tap water fee for the base fee is $26.30, and the rate is $5.26 per HCF, and the monthly bill is $26.92, leading up to a total of $64.92 for the first month and $29.92 afterwards. And we are starting to see how in some regions it is more expensive. Some regions have higher costs of water while others don't, and that just leads up to like our water inequality and like access of which water is going to be the best.
Hi, so I'll be talking about water quality. So just in general, we have reputable sources that confirm that each county is meeting the national standard for water safety. So for example, in Orange County, in his new book, Troubled Water, the activist Seth Siegel explains how Orange County's taps went from having too much salt water to spouting the purest drinking water in the US, according to businessinsider.com. In LA County, in 2017, the LA Department of Water and Power reported that the nearly 160 billion gallons of drinking water provided to the city met or exceeded all drinking water standards for health, cleanliness, and safety, according to canyoudrinktapwaterin.com. In Riverside County, based on the 2019 Riverside Water Quality Report, Riverside County exceeds primary and secondary state health-related standards, according to riversideca.gov. And finally, in San Diego County, based on the 2019 City of San Diego Annual Drinking Water Quality Report, the City of San Diego exceeds primary and secondary state health-related standards, according to sandiego.gov.
Now we're talking about the access to refill stations available in each county. So first, you can see Orange County, it's pretty densely populated in like the lower half of it. So you have a lot of options to go to. The next one is Los Angeles County. Again, a lot of density because Los Angeles County has such a huge populations. And next county is Riverside, and it's a little sparsely populated, also in accordance to like the populations living there. And last but not least, the county that we're probably all familiar with, the San Diego County, and we can see there are some refuel stations along the UCSD area.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. So that was a lot of rambling. I think it is useful to kind of summarize everything that we've just talked about, moving county to county. So obviously the 4 counties that we talked about, the first of which being Orange County. In terms of cost, when we're talking about water cooler versus just a straight tap water with maybe a Brita filter, after about 1.5 years or 1.7 years to be exact, an at-home water cooler, the kind of thing that you hear about all the time, actually does become the cheaper option. This is a trend that you'll see in most of the counties. And then based on practicality, you can see based on the tap water quality and refill station accessibility, both options are feasible and safe no matter where you're living. Next up, we have Los Angeles County. Based on the cost, this one actually only after about 5 months an at-home water cooler becomes the cheaper option. Once again, just like what Guadalupe was talking about, this just shows the difference in prices from county to county when you're looking at tap water. And then once again, based on practicality, you can see based on all of the little pins that we saw on the refill station accessibility, as well as the statements on tap water quality, both options are practical. Next up, we have Riverside County. Riverside County was actually surprising. So Riverside County actually attracts a lot of people because it tends to be a little bit cheaper. So actually tap water remains across the board the cheaper of the two options if you are getting it delivered. And that's basically just because the fee which you pay is actually less than the delivery fee that you would pay, provided, once again, you were in Riverside County. And then once again, based on the tap water quality as well as the refill station accessibility, both options are feasible and safe. And then finally, San Diego County. This one is probably the most relevant for all of us. It is actually interesting to look at the fact that just about every single one of us is staying in San Diego for 4 years to complete our bachelor's. And it just so happens that after about 4 years, an at-home water cooler actually does become the cheaper option. But during those 4 years, the tap water in San Diego County is actually cheap enough that it makes it cheaper. It makes it the cheaper option to just solely get your hydration from tap water. Once again, based on the practicality, based on tap water quality and refill station accessibility, either option is feasible and safe. If y'all are living on campus or maybe a family, maybe your family lives close to campus, or even if you're living off campus but still close, there is the closest refill station that I know of is actually in between the Whole Foods and the CVS, where the Spirit Halloween used to come every year. And yeah, it's like $1.50 for each gallon, or for each 5-gallon jug. I would show you the water cooler that I have in my apartment right now. We have like 8 jugs that we just kind of mass go and fill them up, and we're good for like a month. So extremely practical. However, after about 4 years, the at-home water cooler does become the cheaper option. Water coolers are honestly just so plentiful. You can buy them at Home Depot, you can buy them at Lowe's, you can buy them at Office Max, you can buy them basically anywhere. Amazon sells them too. So yeah, definitely look into it, see if it would be a more practical option. If you're living with all of your friends, if you're living with your family, if your tap water just isn't really cutting it, if you don't feel safe drinking it, that's probably a really good feasible option. With that being said, that is the end of our presentation. Super short, sweet, and to the point, hopefully. Just really quickly wanted to give thanks to SlidesGo for providing me with this slide template. If you have any questions, feel free to contact the Student Sustainability Collective at sscucsd@gmail.com, or check us out on our website at studentsustainability.ucsd.edu. If y'all are interested in doing a little bit more research, feel free to check out some of these helpful links. Most of them were just the county.gov website that helped out giving a lot of information, DWP for LA County, as well as Primo Water. Primo Water is a really good resource if you are looking for some refill stations, just because that's exactly where the screenshots of all the little pins actually came from. So yeah, check that out. Check out any of these helpful links. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact any of us, again, at ssc.ucsd.edu. With that being said, that is the end of our program. Thank you so much for watching this, and we hope that you have a great rest of your quarter, great rest of your year, and let us know if you need anything.